If you play Destiny on controller, on console or PC, and are somewhere between beginner or intermediate at PvP, then in most situations an adaptive hand cannon is not your best option, in spite of their reputation. This video is about the specific strategies I used to make 140 RPM hand cannons meta the most effective tactic available for me. For context, I'm a formerly awful, now intermediate PvP main who uses controller on PC. I used to make videos for work, but I haven't made one in a while, so I wanted to scratch a creative itch. And if you happen to find this video helpful or at least interesting, that would be a great bonus.
And if I can just inspire one person, then I'll have done what I set out on this earth to.
For the first time since I started playing in Season 12, it's very debatable that hand cannons are the best primary weapon for PvP. Today, in mid to long range gunfights, the exotic pulse rifle, No Time to Explain 2 bursts in 0.67 seconds. And the legendary rapid fire pulse rifle Peace of Mind kills faster than hand cannons while also being more forgiving. Then, inside of 25 meters, the SMGs Teraba, Shayura's Wrath, and Funnel Web all exist. But in spite of all that, as I'm recording, it's the final and therefore sweatiest weekend of trials in Season 17, and hand cannons have 30% more kills than the next highest primary archetype, so clearly 140s are still worth considering. Who should main a hand cannon? You should consider if at least one or two of the following statements are true for you. 1. You want a versatile playstyle instead of only laning or aping. Most lanes in Destiny PvP are all within the 15 to 35 meter optimal engagement range of hand cannons, and Destiny 2 PvP is all about taking engagements where you have the advantage. This engagement range also means they pair perfectly with popular special weapons like shotguns, snipers, glaives, fusions. Reason number 2 would be if you aspire to improve in Destiny's most difficult PvP modes, which are all 3v3 based, trials and comp. In these 3v3 game modes, team shooting is vital, so full auto weapons and those with long bursts all have a disadvantage. Lastly would be if you want the easiest possible optimal time to kill among meta contending options. The ease of use factor is where things change based on your input and skill level. If you miss your optimum time to kill on a 140 by either missing a shot or just pacing your shots too slowly, then honestly you probably would have been better off using something else in that engagement. So it's important that you're able to hit the 3-tap the majority of the time in any clean 1v1. The following stats are not debatable, and I don't care if you think they're wrong. MNK users enjoy 20% less recoil, 20% more accuracy, and 10 to 20% more bullet bending depending on your weapon archetype. This means that at base, it's way easier to hit the 3-tap on MNK. The good news for controller players is that because this is Destiny, you don't have to use a base model hand cannon. And even as a low to mid skill level player, it's possible to make hand cannons even easier on controller by building into those exact things. I'll explain this in the rest of the video by going over what kind of hand cannons to use and then giving some step-by-step instructions on how to use them in a 1v1. So I'm going to start with the optimal stat ranges, which does include any contributions from gun and or armor mod. I want to be clear that I'm not saying that these are acceptable ranges. I know people have success with all kinds of stat packages, but this video is about maximizing the cheese and ease factor. So I believe that the following ranges are required only if you want to bring the ease of use on a hand cannon on controller up to or beyond hand cannons on MNK. An additional side note is that when you're brand new, I would really strongly recommend avoiding perks like Surplus, Perpetual Motion, or Rapid Hit, which are all really strong, and they may help you hit these stat targets, but they really dramatically change the feel of your gun as you're shooting and just playing. So in the early stages of getting comfortable with hand cannons, you need to develop a high level of comfort with exactly how your gun is going to respond in different situations, and this inconsistency will really hinder that process. As these stats are on screen, I want to provide some additional thoughts. The stability target is in this range because what you want to do is remove the need to pace your shots. Pacing your shots is when you take extra time to let the gun model and reticle reset between your shots. Even an extra 0.06 seconds between shots will slow your optimal TTK down to a full 1 second. A stability stat of 60 is required on M&K to achieve this effect. So a stability stat of about 80 is required on controller to do the same. The reason I have the number higher here is because sliding decreases the stability of your gun, and slide shooting is absolutely mandatory for higher level hand cannon gunplay. So while 80 is the real minimum, maximizing your buffer zone above 80 as far as possible means that you'll be affected less and less by the recoil penalty that you incur while sliding. The other note I have here is that perks that boost accuracy, zoom, and precision targeting fall-off distance will also dramatically increase the amount that your gun works for you. So perks to look out for here are Eye of the Storm, Rangefinder, and Opening Shot. On screen, I have a list of guns available which can hit these targets. All of these are absolutely excellent and meta competitive, but feel very different. So I'd recommend trying a couple with suitable roles until you find one that you like. Now I want to go over how to take the ideal 1v1 primary based engagement using a hand cannon. Step 1 is prepare behind cover. To do this, the first thing you need to do is identify the direction of your enemy via your radar. You're going to use this information to estimate their exact location based on your map and lane knowledge. The other way you prepare is by giving yourself any advantage possible you can with things like abilities, such as activating your solar restoration, the radiant damage boost, avoid overshield or invisibility, that kind of thing. Step 2, exit cover to engage. Slide out if you are comfortable. If not, put in some practice sessions working on this in patrol. Step 3, begin shooting. Acquire your target by ADSing mid-slide on the spot you've estimated your target to be occupying. Flick to adjust from the estimated target location to the actual location of your target. Due to the existence of reticle friction, which refers to your reticle slowing down as it passes over a target, flick aiming is a huge advantage of controller players, and it's ultimately the reason I believe hand cannons can be easier on controller than on M&K, and it's also generally the reason that's accepted that sniping is easier on controller than M&K. It's an extremely powerful tool for controller players. And single shot weapons, where each shot does a high amount of damage like hand cannons, benefit more from this than other weapon archetypes. Step 4 is continue shooting. Fire your follow-up shots at max rate of fire. This is why stability is important. While you are doing this, make micro adjustments with your left thumbstick to stay on target. This also keeps your reticle friction engaged. Use the right stick if needed, and then relax as you let your weapon's gigantic refrigerator-sized hitbox do the work for you. Some extra notes here are to make sure you're near cover in case things go south. Whether you're outnumbered, the opponent has an overshield or healing active, you get hit by a grenade, or have any other kind of disadvantage. A note on this note is that Hunter Dodge helps you disengage as it makes up for your controller's movement disadvantage, compared to M&K, which can instantly whip around and slide back behind cover. Honestly, that's it. Practice and patrol. Not against Vex because their crit zone is in the middle of their body, which is bad for developing muscle memory. I personally like the Castle because Cabal head height is similar to that of Guardians. And due to the light level cap here, it means multiple headshots are required to kill them. Lastly, ensure that the rest of your kit is giving you an opportunity to succeed. Having a good and consistent FOV and sensitivity is vital. So is having a good and consistent meta-competitive loadout. One note here is that movement exotics help hand cannon gunplay because they lengthen your slide, which gives you more time to pre-aim. Also, a slug shotgun will help you double down on developing your flick aiming. High resilience for flinch resistance will help land follow-up shots, and a full set of mods like targeting, dexterity, and unflinch will all work to passively increase your overall performance. That's it. I hope you found this helpful or at least interesting. If you think there's anything I missed or should be aware of, please feel free to let me know. I've got links in the description to all the resources for my outlandish claims I make during the video. GLHF.